All right, we are back. Drill number 3 of chapter 1, working on numbers 10 through 11. If you remember the directions ask you to compare these 3 problems with the first, second, and third problems from the drill, or translations from the drill. I'm going to go ahead and just vocalize each of these, and then we'll talk through each of them in turn. But if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and pause the video and take some time and compare the same drill, numbers 1 through 3, and compare. And I want you to note particularly the endings here. So the endings here these two should be familiar, while this one should be a new one for you. This one should also be a new one for you, and this one should be fairly familiar. Not new in the sense of you've seen these in the problems, but in their vocabulary you've only seen these endings. You've never seen Paulon in our vocabulary yet. So I want you to take a pause for a second and see if you can figure out what's going on with this sentence. All right, hopefully you figured out what we're getting at here. And this is just typical for how we do some of the problems every once in a while. And that is, what I like to do is try to preview the next chapter a little bit, give you a little bit of a riddler or a little bit of a puzzle in the problems. And so I think I'm just going to go ahead and vocalize them and then translate and see if you can pick it up, and then discuss it afterwards. All right, number 10. Anthropon didaske Paulos. Anthropon didaske Paulos. Now, it might be tempting to make this sentence, a man teaches Paul. But if you've paid close attention, you notice that the sentences above, the words ending in this os ending, those are the words that have been the subjects of the sentence. And if you noticed above, the words like anthropon, these words have been in the subject or the object position in our traditional English word order. So what we're trying to point out here is that this is actually, what we're trying to point out here is, in Greek, word order doesn't matter relative to English. So I can put the subject of the sentence, I can put Paul the subject, and I could put the verb, and I can start the sentence with the object. So this sentence is actually translated, Paul teaches a man. Paul teaches a man. And the reason we know this, sorry about that scratch mark there, the reason we know this is because of the ending of the 2 nouns. This has an ending that tells you it's the object. This has an ending that tells you it's the subject. So word order doesn't matter. I mean, it does to a slight degree in some contexts, but more importantly for now, the word order doesn't matter in the sense that I can put the subject towards the end of the sentence. And in so doing, I have to kind of, learn to a man, Paul teaches. I could think of it that way as well. So let's do the next one. Go ahead and vocalize and translate number 11. Petron didaske Paulos. Petron didaske Paulos. So if you're catching on, it's Paul teaches Peter. Paul teaches Peter. It's not that they're reading left to right. It would be more like Peter, Paul teaches. And you'll start to get used to that as you start to think more Greekly, if that's a possible word. And let's move on to number 12. Paulon pempe Petros. Paulon pempe Petros. In this sentence, it would be Peter sends Paul. Peter sends Paul. Or Paul, Peter sends. All right, I think we have finished up all the drills for chapter 1. You've come a long way so far. You've already learned how to identify and sound out the Greek letters. You've learned a little bit of vocabulary, and you've already started doing some translation of some basic Greek sentences. You are to be congratulated. You've come a long way in a short period of time. Remember, you don't have to master this, and you know what I'm going to say next. Just keep moving. Keep swimming, keep swimming. Okay. All right, we'll see you in chapter